Yo, what's up? This is the guns tier list for Edward the Manning Train. However, if you're a complete beginner, I would recommend you to watch the guns guide video that I've already made, because that video will explain all the fundamentals about guns in Edward the Manning Train, and you need those fundamentals to understand this video. But before we start, let's consider the factors that to me makes a gun good. There are 3 factors that decide whether a weapon is good or not. These 3 main factors are pricing, damage, and playstyle. Let's start with pricing. The price of guns will determine the expectations that I have for the gun. Naturally, I would think that guns that are higher priced will be better than the guns that are lower priced. But of course, this doesn't always happen. A gun may rank high in my tier list even if it's just a decent gun, purely for the fact that it's so cheap. A gun may be good, but it won't rank high in my tier list if I think it's overpriced. Damage. This is simply how much damage it can do in a certain period of time. This counts for damage drop-off, recoil, accuracy, ammo capacity, and of course, raw damage by itself. And lastly, playstyle. And this is where most of us will differ. Every player will approach the game differently, meaning that everyone here will have different opinions about what guns do they like due to their playstyles. This tier list is purely reflecting my own playstyle and my own opinions, but feel free to disagree and start your own discussions in the comments. And with that out of the way, let's get into this. Alright, what's up? We're doing this. Exactly as the same thing as last time: pistols, shotguns, snipers, and after that the automatics. Wait, was that the order last time? I don't remember. The SP1911. Bro, I'm telling you, everybody is sleeping on this pistol. For a pistol that's literally free, you can output some serious damage. It does a lot, to be honest. I had this equipped for way longer than I should have, and it was just because the gun wasn't even that bad. But yeah, definitely good. I'm just gonna place that at good. The Cobra Magnum. When you think about a weapon that costs 20 tickets, you're thinking about a bad gun, but this weapon is literally worse than the starter pistol. How? The beginner pistol does way more damage than the Cobra Magnum, and that doesn't even make sense. Plus the fact that it's more bulky, and plus the fact that it's more slower than the starter pistol. Definitely, bro. Trash. The F17C is basically just an improved version of the beginner pistol, but in my opinion, it's a solid choice if you want to get like your first purchase. But I prefer a weapon that's way more robust, like the SP9 Mini, which that is much more faster than F17C, but it's an alright pick nonetheless, although I don't see much people using this at all. The SP9 Mini, okay, this is a very good gun in my opinion for its price point and for its ammo capacity. Its ammo capacity is huge. I think it's around 15 rounds. It's automatic, it's fast, it's lightweight, and it's quite cheap as well. I'm pretty sure. I think it's around 100 to 300 tickets. It's found in the basic shop. Definitely, bro. I think this is one of the best purchases you can make as a beginner, so it's definitely at like great tier. It's not a must-have tier. I think there's a few better options than the SP9 Mini for beginners, but at this starting price point range, it's definitely a really good pick, and was personally mine. The Condor 50 NS. Okay, this blows almost literally every single pistol out of the water, and I think it gives some weapons that are way more expensive a run for its money. The only problem with it is that you have to get it through the bridge obstacle course, and it's like a 1% or 5% chance, super low chance. I don't have it myself, but I've seen the stats from friends who have gotten it, and honestly, bro, it's just amazing. Must have tier. One of the best guns in the game, definitely, no question about it. The More Ready 90R. This is a machine pistol, and that immediately makes me like it because I prefer machine pistols over regular pistols. Sadly, due to its increased price, I don't see it being as good as the SP9 Mini. I mean, it's a solid choice, but at its price point and where it prices against other guns, there's definitely better choices out there. It's a viable for me. The ammo and back specials are one of the same, so they're gonna go with the same rankings. But honestly, I think they are basically almost a carbon copy of like the beginner pistol. I think these two are great first pick options for true beginners, honestly. I'll probably put them at great tier, to be honest. The Condor 44 is like worst version of like the Condor 50 MS, but even then, it outputs good damage. It's got a critical multiplier. A pistol that has a critical multiplier, what? That doesn't happen often. 560 tickets, it offers way more than some guns. They are like 700, 800 tickets, bro. It's a great weapon, definitely. I would recommend this. If you can't get the Condor 50 MS, the Condor 44, it's close enough at least. Alright, the Bergman 500. Now, I gotta be real with you. Nobody uses the Bergman 500. I've not seen one person in my life use the Bergman 500. And even looking at the stats, it's not even that good anyways. Definitely trash. Going to the bin, bro. The PUAS 12. Now, I love the PUAS 12. The only problem with it is that I think it's only about 4 rounds, and 4 rounds is a bit too little for me, but the damage it outputs is insane. And coupled by the fact that it's quite cheap, I'm gonna put this at good tier. Now, I'm not much of a shotgun user, but if you are a shotgun user, I think I can recommend the PUAS 12 to you, especially when you are an intermediate player. The Bergman 500 Sport Oh no, no. This is another gun that I never see anybody use. And judging by stats alone, no. It's just bad. The Birdman 500s are just bad. The Sawed-Off Model 3. This is a gun from the basic shop that's about 20 tickets, the same as the Cobra Magnum. But I think it does way more than the Cobra Magnum. Because one thing that the Cobra Magnum doesn't have is speed. And the Sawed-Off Model 3 offers that. As a true beginner, what you're able to do is that you're able to just do hit and runs with the Sawed-Off Model 3. And the damage on it is not bad as well, considering it's a shotgun. So if you're not scared about going close range against Edward, the Sawed-Off Model 3 works wonders for you, especially when you're a beginner. I'm gonna put this at good tier actually, way higher than the Cobra Magnum, because I don't see its use for the Cobra Magnum. You could just save up a bit more and get the SP9 Mini or the Condor 44 or any other pistol that's much better than it. The Model 4 Elephant Stopper. Okay, now this is gonna be the first controversial opinion of the video, or maybe the second or third or fourth, I don't know, but I don't like the Model 4 Elephant Stopper. Basically, the Model 4 Elephant Stopper is an upgraded version of the Model 4 Double Barrel. We'll get into that later. It's not that good. The damage is insane, yes, but the Model 4 Double Barrel is literally almost the same thing, but it's way cheaper. Don't get me wrong, I understand. It shreds Edward's health. It shreds it to death. I think it's even better than the MUAS-12 in terms of that, but its price, man, it's overkill. Definitely overkill. And especially with the Model 4 Double Barrel being almost as good, it just doesn't sit well with me, to be honest. I'm just gonna give it a viable tier. The MUAS-12 definitely also goes into the viable tier as well. Personally, I feel like the POAS-12 is a much more economical option while still outputting a lot of the benefits that the AMU-AS-12 has. I'm a very price conscious person, and in my opinion the AMU-AS-12 just does not do as much for me as the POAS-12. And the price increase does not reflect that at all. The Model 4 Double Barrel, oh my god, this is a great shotgun. Great shotgun. I love this shotgun so much. It's basically almost the same thing as the Elephant Stopper, but it's much more cheaper. I don't see many people talking about it, to be honest. I think for intermediate players, this is the shotgun to get because of how good it is. Of course, it's hand loaded, which is a bit of a problem, and it's just a double barrel as well. It does not offer the same magazine capacity as the POAS-12s or MUAS-12s, but for the damage it outputs and for how cheap it is, I'm keeping it at great tier, to be honest. It deserves to be there. The Jury Rigged Model 3. I was actually kind of sleeping on it. I called it trash in my last review, and I still don't think it's good or great, but I think it's viable, to be honest. Of course, it's one bullet. It's like one shotgun pellet. What are you gonna do with that? If you're an intermediate or advanced player, you have no use for the Jury Rigged Model 3, which is not the same case as the Condor 50 MS. But if you're a beginner and you're just starting out, the Jury Rigged Model 3 is actually a solid option for you if you got it. Of course, it's not as good as the Condor 50 MS, obviously. The Hollingsworth 1894. Okay, we're going into the sniper section of the video now. And one thing that I hate about rifles is that some of them don't have scopes. I think the scope snuffs the snipers so much. Legit, it just cannot work. The Hollingsworth 1894 is trash. I'm sorry, bro, but for the damage it outputs and without the use of a scope, it's just useless in my opinion. The Plinkett Carbine is a weapon that I see a lot of merit in. I believe it's found at the Ranger Substation Kilo, and judging by its stats alone and how cheap it is, I think it's a great option, to be honest. I'm pretty sure it doesn't have a scope, and that's a big problem, but other than that, the weapon is stellar on paper, and in practice it also works wonders as well. I don't see it being talked about that much, to be honest. Most people are talking about the AP338, the Earnshaws. Of course, I understand. For as a sniper, if you're looking out for a budget option, the Plinkett Carbine is actually very underrated. The 1894 Tactical, oh no, no, go get to the bin, bro. Just get to the bin. Oh my god, this gun is just terrible, to be honest. If you look at its stats alone and you just pair it with that similar in its price range, you can see the difference. Of course, it's not completely garbage. Of course, it has some merits. The merits are not enough to give it a viable or good. The custom Hollingsworth 1894 is the same thing but with scope, and honestly that pushes it to viable tier in my opinion. The scope is one of the most important things, and the Hollingsworth on its own is alright except for the scope. If it doesn't have the scope, it's automatically trash, but with a scope you're able to utilize some of the benefits that the custom Hollingsworth 1894 gives to you, and for its price point as well, it's not that bad. I'm just gonna give it a viable tier. It's a weapon that doesn't see much love, and I understand that, but I recommend anyone that loves snipers to give it a spin. Now the Earnshaw 700, if you watch my guns guide video, you already know it's a must-have. I think it's the best sniper in my opinion. I know it's the AP338s and the Earnshaws 800Ms, but for what it does at its price point is really good in my opinion. And AP338 as well, it's a must-have as well. I think this is the premier sniper to have. If you're a sniper player and you're advanced and you got loads of cash, loads of money sitting around, the AP338 is literally what you need. The Earnshaw 800M kind of fell off for me. I'm gonna put it at good tier. The problem with the Earnshaw 800M is that the AP338 kind of replaced it as like the legendary sniper, you know what I mean? The Earnshaw's 800M doesn't have the bite that the AP338 has. And of course, you know, you can make the argument that, oh, it's lighter weight or whatever. The AP338 is a weapon that does 150 damage, or maybe even 300 if you go through the critical multiply. It's a crazy weapon to have. And for me, the Earnshaw as a weapon, as a sniper, doesn't fit the same anymore. But the Earnshaw 700 keeps its place due to it being much more cheaper, so I have low expectations for it. Alright, let's go over to the automatics. The MA16 Marksman. Now, anybody that's watched my guns guide video knows that I prefer the AU-47s. The MA16 Marksman, in my opinion, is a decent gun, definitely. I'm gonna put it at good tier. The scope makes it much more better than, let's say, the MA16, and we'll talk about that later. The AU-47M would have been a much better option, or maybe for a sniper player, the Earnshaws or the AP338 would have been a much better investment, in my opinion. Actually, I might put it down to viable, to be honest. It's not that good. Now, I'll keep it at good just in case I don't get killed online. Okay, now the RAC-10 and RAC-10 Commando. I'm gonna give them the same spot, but I think both of these are great. They're not must-haves. They're not must-haves. For it to be a must-have, it must be a total bargain. It must be a super deal. And I don't think the RAC-10 Commandos are that, but they're close. So I'm giving them great tier. The weapon, the damage they output is insane for their price point. The fire rate is crazy as well. It's lightweight. It's fast. Overall, I love these two weapons, man. Well, it might be my bias because of my playstyle, but if you're an intermediate player, I recommend this heavily to you. You should use any one of these. They will do you wonders. The MA16 sadly does not have the halo that the Marksman gives off. It doesn't have the scope. It doesn't have any of the special features, and then just pushes it down to viable to me, even if it's lower in price, because this is the same price as the AU-47, and the AU-47, in my opinion, is a much better gun fundamentally than the MA16. And now, finally, the AU-47. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna do the AU-47 first. The AU-47 is a great gun. It's a great gun. It's not must-have. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect gun. It's not a total steal. But for me, it is one of the best purchases that you can do. At 960 tickets, it does so much. It is so versatile. The damage it does is great. The ammo capacity is great. The damage drop-off isn't too bad either. Bro, it's legit a sound weapon that anybody can use. It's the most versatile. It works in short range. It works in mid-range. It works in long range, actually, in some situations. And I think this is one of the most definitive purchases that you can make in this game. And now, finally, the AU-47M, which I've saved the best for last. And in my opinion, this is the best gun in the game. I'm gonna put it at must-have tier, definitely. This is a weapon that I personally use. It's one of the first purchases that I've ever made, and it's a weapon that I've consistently used throughout my whole time playing this game. The damage output is crazy. The damage drop-off is practically non-existent due to it being a marksman. I don't see any reason not to use the AU-47. And even if you're a shotgun player, even if you are a sniper player or anything like that, or you don't like automatics, I don't see you not having this in your inventory. The AU-47M is goated, and I think it's the best gun in the game. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see another video, I recommend checking out the two update videos that I did for the game, the Wildfire update and the Christmas update. Those are great videos. You should go check them both out. And yeah, see you guys next time. Peace.